All right, so the next step is, I imagine I've spent X amount of hours. Here's what I'm gonna do now. Again, I'm gonna make a screen grab. God damn it. By now, I hope I conveyed how important it is to grab those damn fucking screen grabs and overpaint it in Photoshop. So I've tweaked my lighting, I tweaked some textures, I refined some shapes. Cool. What do I do next? Next, I'm gonna grab a screen grab and I'm gonna look at the clock and imagine how many hours did I spend. 10, for example, hours, right? Let's say 10 hours. And my goal is to wrap this image in 30 or 40 hours. Even when I do portfolio pieces, I do them to train, like improve like my speed, for example, right? And here's when where I'm facing a reality check. Because if this took me like a couple of hours, and I know that a hard surface designer that will do it in 5 seconds, this clamp and it will look better. Well, buddy, I'm not as cool as you. I'm sorry. If this took me like 1 hour, this, let's say 5 hours, this will say like 5 hours, right? And what I'm doing, I'm trying to estimate my next step. I'm trying to figure out my next moves, and I know there's like a time limit I want to work under, right? And in case of this image, I want you to know this. Whenever sometimes when with clients work, sometimes I will use scans from the beginning, and sometimes I will model everything because I must do, right? But a lot of the times I will use kit bash pieces or scans. So this is a problem that I still need to solve. How am I gonna solve it? Kit bash piece or scan. I need to solve the characters. So if my image is about an environment, and my characters will be this small in a frame, and I know I'll need plenty of them, guess what? Character pack. And I'm gonna show you some. And you know what, when I'm talking about it, because I've been asked to show my workflow or I really want to show my workflow and brag about my workflow in Character Creator. Or maybe in case of this image, I was, as I was modeling the shit around, I was figuring out the scope or how many characters I will want to put in my image. So in case of this image, for example, I spent my sweet time in Character Creator to create this dude, to create this dude, to create this dude, to create this lady. But whatever the characters are in the background, those are characters from packs. Because the goal of those characters was just to make this place feel busy. The same in here. I've designed this dude, I've designed those two, designed in Character Creator. If you can call designing characters in Character Creator, then I've designed those dude. And then everyone else in the background, those are just character packs, right? And the reason why I'm not gonna talk to you about or tell you or explain to you, or I mean try to convey, or I know do tutorial within a tutorial about character is because doing characters takes time. And the other reason is Character Creator costs a lot of fucking money. It's the best tool to do the characters, but check this out. Those are my receipts. Character Creator cover all of my character needs, all of them. Since I'm using Character Creator, it's so much easier for me to introduce character into my image because they have amazing packs like custom outfits, some post-apocalyptic outfits, but everything costs a shitload of money. Yes, Yoshi, it costs, right? A lot of money. You would prefer I would spend this money on you? She has a paintbrush, as you can see. Damn it. Again. I'm trying to do shit here, you know? Important shit. And I know you're the most important shit, and I'm working on setting up boundaries, but goddammit, it's just impossible. If you have a small fox that wants to cuddle all the time. Alright, so as I was saying, Character Creator is an amazing tool. But Yoshi, That's my stick. Character Creator is an amazing tool, but it's a very expensive one. So as you can see, like I've paid for the basic version of it, Character Creator free back then, with like some realistic human skin shaders and like morphs that you can change the body type. This cost alone $200, and then I had to buy like an add-on. I don't know if it was like iClone or some other one. God damn it! What I'm trying to say here is that character Reallusion is very pricey, and all of the add-ons, if you want to build hair, realistic skin, the expenses just add up. I still think that's the best software out there, but also that's the reason why this is I don't want to do characters and environment in one tutorial, because doing characters is well tutorial on its own, and in this tutorial we are just focusing on mainly on the environment. And the reason why we want to add characters is because of course we want to push the story, but we also want to busy the place up. And if you introduce like a bunch of characters into your scene, like even more than few, the place will feel like, you know, people live there or people function there, right? But all I'm saying, also what I'm saying this is either character creator for me, or it's either like a bunch of cheap character packs that cost like $15-20. And if you're looking for characters, also there's like shitload of them on Sketchfab for free. And also subscribe to Ian Hubert Patreon. Ian Hubert shares so many fucking cool assets of characters, of scans put together of sci-fi looking characters that do not normal things. And fuck me, normal things. Alright, Yoshi, you're distracting me. I'm sorry, but I can't focus. Right. Alright, as I was saying, I'm just gonna show you the character packs that I'm using for this tutorial. And what I want to say is this is god damn it, I hope if it's on discount right now, and those packs are very often on a discount. Like if this packs cost like $12 now, I mean, let's say it costs $40. This is not the overall price, right? It comes with so many different fucking presets of clothes, and the characters, I think that they are rigged. And I want you to know that I won't be spending a lot of time explaining how to pose characters, because this isn't character tutorial. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna share some secrets how I'm posing the characters or how I'm placing the characters in my scene. Because when I was let's open the Lechlanko scene. Let's just open the scene. Alright, so I'm not gonna go through showing you how to pose your character or how rigs work in Blender. It's because I need to keep moving forward, keep moving on, right? Keep moving forward. And if I'm gonna start explaining how to pose characters, I'm just gonna get lost in the fucking sauce. So here's what I want you to know. Here's what I want you to know. Based on this image that I was showing you, this post-apo image, right? Just a second ago. The way I would do it is I would just pose, I would create a table, and I don't know if I talked about musgrave texture. God damn it, did I? So you want to always, whenever you have a metal surface, you want to add a bit of musgrave displacement. Let me just show it right now. Let's add a bunch of cuts. You see how straight edged, like this is super straight, right? I mean, not as in straight line. I'm talking about the surface. It feels very 3D. It feels very 3D. So I want to add this musgrave modifier on a lot of the metal stuff that I will do. Displacement, new, in here, musgrave. So what musgrave does, it creates irregularities within your mesh. So what I always want to do is add a bit of a musgrave on a super low value. 0.1, like so. So you see how, just based on the reference, where I said I would wish for more stuff to feel like this, more natural, right? This is what I'm doing it, because there's a difference. You see the silhouette between this shape, and there's a difference between this shape. Because guess what? If you gonna just build your scene out of like super straight, edgy stuff, models, it will look a bit too 3D. So I want to break the feeling of 3D by just a touch of musgrave. And not only that, what it does, the light hitting the surface will make the surface act or feel differently. God damn it, did I talk about it or not? Fuck me, Piotr. I never. My brain. I keep editing the videos. All I want you to know that I will always add a bit of a musgrave to some metallic surfaces, because the properties of how the surface will react towards the light, most often it has nothing to do with your shader setup. It has to do with how light or sun actually hits an uneven surface, right? So what I'm saying, if there was a sun hitting this side, let's grab the sun. Let's make it sharp. Or let's just write this. You see what's happening in here, right? This is bent in, so the sun obviously will be stronger in here, and this is bent out. Those small choices, those small things really matter. Those small like bumps and unevenness, they really make your object look more realistic, and it has to do with the shape of this surface and not the shader setup you have in here. And by the way, be very careful with it, because this is fucking wobbly and ugly. This doesn't look realistic. You want to add a touch of musgrave displacement to some of your metallic surfaces, and you want to keep your mesh low poly. This is like 5,000 vertices, right? Even this is too much. You want for it to be barely noticeable, but guess what? If you add this to this metal, to other metal, like, it will push the feeling of your scene. All right, let's talk about the characters. So I've created this table, for example, right? It has a bit of a musgrave, and then I've added those plates, and then there's like some glue in between, because I really love the idea of, when I look at shit, that it makes, I understand how it was assembled, right? There aren't like unnecessary cuts. I mean, it's a simple fucking table. What I want you to know is, when I'm posing characters, I'll create like one table. I will create a second table. And for this image, I think I've created 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different tables. And it turns out I've created too many tables. Why? You don't need this many tables in your image, or this many variations of poses in your image, because here's why. If I have one table and I just duplicate it, this is like repetition. We don't want, obviously, this is like instantly someone will know, you just copied the table around, right? But if you rotate it, all right, this is already something else, but guess what? It's still noticeable, right? But guess what's gonna happen as we're gonna increase and rotate the tables? It becomes less noticeable just by rotating characters around, right? So what I'm trying to get at is, you don't need to post like 20 fucking characters in your scene. Or let me show you this, so it will make more sense. Take a guess how many different poses and how many different soldiers I've used for this image. It's only one soldier, one scan of a soldier, and it's repeating over and over and over again. Let's say, assume there are like, I don't know, 100 of them. So I've created a row of soldiers, and then I just grab a bunch of them. Like, I grab this one because this one stands up, and I edited the mesh and moved his hand up. But a lot of them are just rotated on axes, on different axes, right? And then what I've done, I've just added a bunch of shields to a bunch of them, and a bunch of spears to a bunch of them. Now, if those were like only like 5 of the same soldiers, I think the repetition would be obvious. But if you, something just happens in our brain, in our eyes. I don't know why. If you repeat something in like a bigger quantity, like we are losing this feeling. It's not as obvious. Like the repetition, it becomes less obvious. And of course, I was like, after I've selected, added the 100 soldiers with the same pose again, I was rotating them a bit, and then I think I've changed poses on. I think I've just mirrored. God damn it! I had this dude. It's mirrored. I had like this mesh, right? I cut it in half. I've mirrored this side, and then I've mirrored this side. So I ended up with one pose, and I ended up with another pose. This is what to say. I've just like kept hacking shit until it looked like believable, right? So what I'm saying is, if you want to do a lot of characters in your scene, you don't really have to pose every single character, because if you add enough of them and you will just slightly rotate them, or like even edit their mesh, like edit their head, or have them holding somewhere in your hand, or not only that, if you're posing stuff and you start adding like a bunch of tables, then in order to push this repetition, for example, to get rid of this repetition, what you can also do, because this is like an instance collection, right? Everything is instance in one group. I'm just gonna press Ctrl-Shift-A to make this collection its own, and I'm just gonna maybe remove this character. So now we have one dude sitting by the table, right? And I might remove the backpack, for example, and it will already make a difference. All right, so those are the characters.